The Broadway musical Wicked has been dazzling audiences for more than 21 years. Based on Gregory Maguire's best-selling novel about the Wicked Witch of the West and Glinda the Good, it adapts to the big screen in the most astounding way. I'm Oz historian Ryan J., and today I'll take you behind the curtain to meet some of the masterminds who make this Oz more magical than ever. Stephen, we met about 10 years ago when you came in to interview about my documentary covering Arlen and Harburg, about Over the Rainbow in New York City with producer Aaron Harburg Yip's great-grandson. And you shared with me at the piano in front of the window at that time the 5 hidden references that you have in the score of Wicked that are homage to Harold Arlen's score on The Wizard of Oz.
I sort of thought when I did the score for Wicked that I would hide little references to the Arlen score within it.
One short day in the Emerald City. One short day to have a lifetime of fun.
In One Short Day, there's a piccolo part, and I insisted on it being in piccolo so that it would cut through and you could actually hear it in the orchestration where they're playing, "You're out of the woods, you're out of the... You're out of the woods, you're out of the... You're out of the night." It's doing ya da 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 da.
So I'll be back good someday to make my life and make my way, but for today we'll wander and enjoy. I only knew that because they started rehearsing just that section, and I went, "We're out of the woods, we're out of the da 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 da." I was like, "No way!" That's when you just go, "He's so crazy talented, like." His brain must hurt.
And then 2 are in the underscoring. When the house falls and Elphaba goes off to see about her sister, she leaves Fiyero there. As the cyclone comes up, the orchestra plays ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-dum. It plays the Miss Gulch theme. Da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum. But it does it in a very kind of, it plays it in very sort of strong Mahler-esque terms, so you don't, it's, again, the rhythm is changed, but in this case, it's actually almost the same harmonization. And then at the very, very end, when you see the scarecrow, as he enters, it's playing If I Only Had a Brain. It changes the last note, and it plays it very mournfully.
Together we're unlimited.
The one that's the most sort of famous and people spot it after a while is that the Unlimited theme, which runs through, obviously, Wicked in at several points. The first 7 notes of that are the first 7 notes of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. The tune basically goes, unlimited, my future is unlimited, so it's... And then it goes on from there. Well, Over the Rainbow is... So... Those are the first 7 notes.
I couldn't be happier. No, I couldn't be happier.
The one that was pointed out to me that I did not do deliberately is in Glinda's song at the top of the 2nd act, I Couldn't Be Happier, the tune for which is going, I couldn't be happier. No, I couldn't be happier. And it's Follow the Yellow Brick Road, which I wasn't even aware of that one. So obviously the score kind of got in my head a little bit.
It's because of Yip Harburg and Harold Arlen's bass work that Stephen Schwartz was able to write. Couldn't be happier, couldn't be happier.
And the point was obviously not to steal anything, and really not even to try to sound like that score, for Wicked to be its own sound, but to pay homage to these 2 geniuses, Arlen and Harburg.
Are there any new ones in the film adaptation?
Oh,
really?
yes. Yeah, there are new musical Easter eggs. I'll just say to listen to when the kids at the very beginning of the film are running through the tulip fields to announce the death of the witch.
Good news! The witch! She's dead!
Listen to that.
Okay.
And when Elphaba and Fiyero are transporting the lion cub, and this was Winnie's idea, on a bicycle and putting the lion cub in a basket, which may be reminiscent of a certain thing that happens in the 1939 film. Listen to how that's scored.
Now, Winnie, what were you most interested in expanding an adaptation from stage to screen?
Basically, all the beats of our story, there's just so many places on stage where we're rushing. We're literally rushing, or we're skipping over. You know, like I'll give one example. It's the sisters. You know, the two sisters' relationship. It's not about length. It's about, depth.
Who was the person that helped you figure out to add a Professor Mombi into the script?
Oh, that was just me, like looking through the book. I think didn't I name it Mombi?
Yes,
did.
but then why no Professor Wugglebug?
Because I'm not an Oz historian, like as anyone can tell. I'm just a writer, and what I do is certain things just instinctually I just like them, and other things I'm not taken with.
Pink goes good with green.
Goes well with green.
It so does.
You have previously designed for Oz. You did the Wiz Live, and how do you approach Emerald City then for Wicked the movie after already throwing everything you have at the wall once before?
Oh, well, I love creating this world with the Wiz. It just has a different vibe because of what that music is, and you're seeing so much of it all at once. You're seeing, it's frontal, it's, for Wicked, it's 360 in huge spaces and creating a world that's very real, like reality, but from a fantasy point of view.
When Disney made Oz the Great and Powerful, there was this controversy in creating the Wicked Witch of the West and her skin tone green because of trademarks associated with MGM and Warner Brothers for the Wicked Witch of the West as portrayed by Margaret Hamilton. Did you have to deal with any of that in creating the green tone of skin for Wicked, the film?
No, one is obviously inspired by the green. You can't get away from that. It wasn't that we were going to go to a pale greeny yellow or anything odd like that, but you're completely inspired by it. But I had the freedom to create the green tone that worked for Cynthia Erivo.
And we know that they used the MAC Chrome Cake on Broadway for Elphaba. Did you start there, or what did you end up using to create that green shade?
No, we truly started with bringing in models with the right skin tone and just trying everything that existed on the market and mixing.
What about the freckles?
The freckles were very much something that we use in our industry just as part of our way of making people look younger and older. And we needed to, for the Shiz, we wanted to give her a transition through life. So the freckles were going to start young and stronger, and Cynthia loved them so much she kept them right all the way through. They should have softened off a little, but they didn't.
They're delightful. I did Elphaba and Glinda
becoming-
for Halloween this year and added the freckles, so thank you for that. What was the discussion in creating this film, changing Glinda's blue bubble dress from the stage production of Wicked to pink here in the film?
I was most inspired by the 1930s film with Judy Garland and Billy Burke, because that is what resonates for me as the Glinda iconic image, And I also found that, knowing that Gregory Maguire's novel of Wicked, that's referencing so closely, what the film is and turning it on its head. And so I thought that it would be smart to, tap into those icons that are present in that film, the icons that are in the original bound book. Some of the energy from the original Wicked musical, but John was very much interested in creating an original view of what Oz is.
Sticking with Glinda for a minute, Galinda, Ariana Grande has her own makeup line, so she's a makeupista, if you will, right?
Yes, she
did
is.
you use any REM beauty products with her, or how much of a consultant was she in creating Glinda's makeup?
She was very collaborative about the designs. We wanted to stay away from the Ari look, the high ponytail, the tightness, and so we went for the soft flow in it. It very much with Paul. It works very well, the soft flowing curves of her hair. And she didn't have very fancy styles. We never went for anything up or anything like that. It was very much to stay free for the toss and to give her a new look that Ari hadn't had before.
The Wicked Witch of the West hat is so iconic, it opens the film. You completely reinvented it. It looks almost like one of those cups that is collapsible. What was the inspiration behind that? How did you reinvent the Wicked Witch's hat?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, about it being, looking to be collapsible, because that was one of the influences. That it was like a magical top hat or something like that, that would pop open. But before that, it was John's idea that he wanted to start the film with a distance shot looking at the hat and then zooming in on the hat. And from a distance, you're not quite sure if it is a mountain or an architectural formation, or it just needed to be something that was interesting and slightly reflective of this hat. But then you realize it is the actual hat, and it moved from being that iconic but very simple shape from The Wizard of Oz that the Wicked Witch of the West wears, just a plain pointed hat, to something that was covered in texture, and it is angular and kind of, it creates this mountain feel, I guess, but then can be very beautiful. And Cynthia wears a wide brim hat like no other that that I've worked with. So, it was wonderful to be able to create that.
We have to talk about the jeweled shoes. I mean, L. Frank Baum wrote them as silver. They were turned ruby for The Wizard of Oz because of Technicolor. Then we see them back as silver in The Wiz Live. Starting from scratch here, what was this like? Because those are unlike anything I've seen. They're spectacular.
Thank you. Thinking about the ruby slippers and how iconic that has become as an image for us, I wanted for the idea of the crystal slipper to hold and resonate that kind of quality. What I've given it, is some of the the subtlety in the design is that there's a tornado that is within the heel that swirls around with crystals, and then it envelops the foot of Nessa Rose, so that it then harkens back to some of the other themes that are present in The Wizard of Oz.
Fuck out. Seriously?
Really quickly, because I have to wrap. You're the pair. We already got a franchise. What will it take to get Wicked's Part 3 and 4?
We were actually talking about something. It's just under wraps, and we can't say too
But
much
it's not
about
called
it.
Wicked Part 3 or 4.
No,
Okay.
no.
Well,
But
thank
there
you.
is something we're talking about.
Thank you so much.
This Wicked Witch.
There's no place like Oz.
You can do anything.
I know.
Wicked. Rated PG.